Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
A shooting overnight on San Antonio's southeast side leaves 2 men in serious condition. Good morning, I'm Max Massey. The latest on the investigation coming up on Good Morning San Antonio.
Rudy Giuliani is in full cleanup mode over his comments about the president and Stormy Daniels. I'm ABC's Arlette Saenz in Washington with what Rudy Giuliani had to say coming up.
And CityCam giving us a live look outside. 62 degrees. Feels nice this morning, and we have plenty of sunshine in the forecast. Mike Osterhage is standing by with details.
Good morning. It is Monday. It is May 7th.
Welcome to your Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a great Cinco de Mayo. For those of you who I saw at Race for the Cure, it was beautiful weather, turned out perfect, and it was great to see everyone out there on Saturday.
A lot of commemorative 300 events going on this weekend,
yes.
So those went off without a hitch, so absolutely fantastic.
So after the rain that we got on Friday, Mike, how much did we get? Do you know how? I'm assuming it was really nice for the aquifer.
Well, yes, because a lot of it fell out in the recharge zone. As far as out there at the airport, it didn't seem like a heck of a lot. I mean, we'll take anything we can get. It was just shy of an inch. I think it was about 3/4 of an inch, if memory serves me correctly. But then some folks, again, out in the hill country picked up, as expected, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. How long will this nice weather last? Details coming up, and a look ahead to Mother's Day in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything going on yet, Marcus?
Well, Mike, we are seeing some activity out there on the roadways in these construction zones. 37 there here in the downtown vicinity. We're already seeing some of those barrels being picked up, and the same story here. David?
Thank you, sir. Police investigating a shooting that left 2 men in the hospital, both in serious condition. Now, police said the shooting happened around 10:30 last night in the 1200 block of Vanderbilt Street. KSAT 12's Max Massey is live at Public Safety Headquarters. So, Max, understand that this thing started after an argument.
Police say earlier in the day there was a confrontation between 2 groups of people. Then later last night, 1 group of men returned to that home, and that argument escalated to gunfire. Now, police say 2 men in their 20s were shot. 1 was hit in the back, the other shot in the ribs. One of the victims, who lives at the home on Vanderbilt Street, was found on the street in front of his home with a gunshot wound. The other victim was put in a vehicle, taken to another home on Hicks Avenue. SAPD has detained several suspects and witnesses, but at last check, no charges had been filed. As for those 2 victims, both at SAMC, both in serious condition. David, Leslie?
Max, thank you very much. San Antonio investigators have released more information about what they say happened leading up to a shooting in a Northwest Side apartment complex last week. Rolando Garza is charged with murder. He claims he fired a gun in self-defense at the Branch apartment complex in the medical center Wednesday morning. A witness who was staying with Garza at the time says she was in an on-again, off-again relationship with the victim, Gerardo Aparicio. Eventually, the 2 men met outside the apartment, where the witness says she saw them shake hands as if everything was fine. According to the affidavit, minutes later, Aparicio and 3 people showed up at the apartment again, and an argument began. In the affidavit, investigators say as Aparicio was making his way out of the apartment, Garza shot him, killing him.
Bexar County medical examiner is still working to identify a woman who was killed after being hit by 2 different vehicles this weekend. Police said the woman was crossing Southwest Military Drive near Pleasanton Road around 6 Sunday morning, and that's when a man driving a truck slammed into her. Police say the driver stopped to help, but the woman was hit a second time by another driver. No charges have been filed yet. The woman was not using the crosswalk. In your morning headlines, President Trump's attorney, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, was on ABC this weekend. He attempted to clarify what the president knew about the $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Giuliani says he wasn't sure when the president knew about the payment. There is also the possibility that more payments like this one were made. ABC's Arlette Saenz is in Washington with that story.
Another round of cleanup duty for President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
Right now, I'm at the point where I'm learning, and I can't prove that. I can just say it's rumor.
The damage control comes after he revealed Mr. Trump repaid his personal attorney for that $130,000 hush payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels, despite the president denying he knew of the payment.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
Appearing on This Week, Giuliani said he's not actually aware of when the president learned about the payment to Daniels.
Why did the president deny any knowledge of the payments when, in fact, he had made
I don't
the
know.
payments?
I don't know when the president learned about it.
And Giuliani raised the possibility that similar payments were made to other women.
Did Michael Cohen make payments to other women for the president?
I have no knowledge of that, but I would think if it was necessary, yes.
Stormy Daniels' attorney fired back.
The president had effectively an extramarital affairs slush fund that was administered by Michael Cohen, and that he would just be expected to take care of these things.
Giuliani also took aim at the Russia investigation, days after President Trump said he'd like to sit down with Robert Mueller.
I would love to speak. I would love to go. Nothing I want to do more because we did nothing wrong.
But if the president is subpoenaed to testify, Giuliani says he may not comply.
Will you comply?
Well, we don't have to. He's the president of the United States.
If the president does testify before the special counsel, Giuliani did not rule out the possibility that the president may plead the Fifth. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
We are waiting to learn the fate of American prisoners being held in North Korea. The rogue nation has 3 Americans being held prisoner. President Trump and the White House suggested they could be released at any time. However, in the wake of the peace pushes in Korea, the North appears to be upset with statements that the U.S. has made. North Korea is calling claims that economic sanctions and pressure brought them to the negotiating table. They say that's misleading and warn that trying for peace is not a sign of weakness. This all comes as North Korea and the U.S. prepare for a summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
It's now 5:07 and 62 comfortable degrees.
It is nice out there today. Still ahead, even though there have been some major issues with the platform. Facebook users aren't going anywhere. Details coming up in your Morning Tech Bites.
And coming up next, an Alabama boy is alive and well this morning after what can only be described as a miraculous recovery. We've got his story coming up.
And CityCam giving us a live look outside. So happy you're starting your week off with us on GMSA. We'll check on the roadways. Marcus has been tracking some traffic trouble spots. He'll have details coming up. Welcome back, everybody. Time now is 10 minutes after 5. An Alabama teen is back from the dead, literally, after losing pieces of his skull in a freak accident.
His parents and doctors had given up. They were preparing for his death, but now he's walking, shooting baskets, and even making jokes.
ABC's Candace Gibson has this incredible story.
For 13-year-old Trenton McKinley,
I said I could turn my head sideways and put salsa in there and eat chips and dip out of my head.
Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
What a great attitude.
Miracle. I mean, he was brain dead, literally died. They brought him back to... Wow.
And he likes chips and salsa.
Apparently.
And
he's got a convenient bowl right there. It's hilarious. 5:13 now and 60 degrees outside.
He knows he made the shot.
He did.
Yeah.
He's tucking. What?
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Still ahead, Warren Buffett weighed in on Wells Fargo and the possibility of internet insurance this weekend. We'll tell you what he had to say in your morning consumer headlines.
And coming up next, it is a big birthday over at Apple. We'll explain coming up in your Tech Bites.
Welcome back. 16 minutes after 5 o'clock. A new poll shows that a majority of people are remaining loyal to Facebook. That's despite recent concerns about users' privacy. ABC's Diane Macedo and Candace Gibson have the details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Facebook unfazed by the recent data breach. Well, those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
All right. We're checking on the traffic. We've had some flashing lights out there.
You sound so official right now.
All right.
All right. Let's check on the traffic. Flashing lights out there. Marcus, what's happening?
Just some construction wrapping up from the overnight cruise. So let's take a look. 35 at Burbank there. They do have the exit ramp open now. So northbound 35, you can exit onto eastbound Highway 90 and I-10. Shouldn't have any issues. There's no accidents right now on the highways. And all the construction's wrapping up.
Looks good.
Wrap it. Rappity wrap, as our producer at 6 likes to say. Wrap up that construction.
Officially wrap.
Yeah. It's a Monday. I just
It's a Monday.
don't know. Whatever goes here, just sometimes it just happens.
The filter's not in place yet for the Monday anyway. Hey, it's going to be
She
a
opened the door really wide right there, and I'm not going through it because I'm smart.
Probably a very good decision.
Good man, David. Good man.
Wide open door.
Anyway, look at this beautiful, beautiful sunset out there, and I believe that is the star Venus. 85 on Friday, but then notice it's not as warm in the afternoon, but notice how it's going to be a lot warmer in the mornings, and that's a good indication of more of the humidity around here. More clouds on Saturday, and so we do have a chance for a couple of showers on Sunday, and those low temperatures won't be very crisp. 70, good indication of some humidity.
It's that time of year. It's going to start going up, humidity and heat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. In your morning consumer headlines, Warren Buffett likes Wells Fargo, but he isn't too crazy about the idea of getting into online insurance. He spoke this weekend at the shareholder meeting of his company, Berkshire Hathaway. Buffett says that he is standing behind Wells Fargo despite scandals over mortgages and auto loans. He also says he is in no rush to be a pioneer in underwriting cyber insurance. He says we still have no idea just how bad a disaster in cyberspace it could be. Late breaking news on the north side. Firefighters are on the scene of a house fire. This is happening in the 100 block of Blue Lane. Our Katrina Weber just arrived on the scene. She joins us now live. So what's the situation, Katrina?
Well, they do have the fire out, but there's bad news for the homeowner. This house is destroyed, and he also lost some pets, according to what we've been told by Castle Hills Police. We're actually in the Castle Hills city limit. This street is Bluette Lane. It's off of Jackson Keller near Loop 410. You can see firefighters just kind of recovering from what they had was what was a big job for them. They say they found flames coming out of the roof of this home. They did have their aerial ladder truck here where they were pouring water on the house from outside, from above. The homeowner actually is the one who called them. They say when they got here, they found him pulling some of his dogs out of the home, but he had a lot of dogs and did not get them all out. They say that some of those animals did perish in this fire. What they're waiting for right now is for the Bexar County Fire Marshal to show up to try to figure out how the fire started. No injuries to people, but again, that homeowner losing some of his pets this morning as they were trying to put out this fire in this home. Reporting live in Castle Hills, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. 523, 60 degrees.
The Avengers Infinity War continues to shatter box office records. We're going to tell you about the latest record it broke coming up in the spotlight. Welcome back. Your time now is 5:26. In the spotlight this morning, we are talking about who's really raking in the bucks at the box office. Plus, we have some new award news.
CNN's David Daniel has all that and more this morning from Hollywood.
When you said we are going to open Wakanda to the rest of the world, this is not what I imagined.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Your time now is 5:27, 60 degrees outside.
We'll be right back. You're watching Good Morning San Antonio.
It's 5:30. We're going to start with late breaking news in Castle Hills this half hour. Firefighters are on the scene of a house fire. This is happening in the 100 block of Bluette Lane. Let's check back in with our Katrina Weber. She's on the scene. Katrina, you mentioned the homeowner lost some family pets in the fire.
Yeah, I did have a chance to talk to the young man who lives here. His mother told me that he had about 9 dogs inside this home, and at least 2 of them were lost in this fire. A firefighter is standing by right now waiting for the fire marshal to come and to try to determine how this fire started in this home. This neighborhood is off of Jackson Keller near Loop 410, just to give you some perspective. We are in the city limits of Castle Hills, but they've had multiple agencies out here this morning helping them with this fire. They told me that when they arrived, they found flames coming through the roof. They believe the fire started in a bedroom. And according to the man's mother, he was sleeping in another room toward the back of the house when this fire broke out. And we still don't know if he woke up to the smoke alarms or because of the flames and the smoke, but he was out of the house by the time firefighters arrived. And they said they did have to stop him from going back in because he was trying to get those pets out. But again, the majority of them, according to his mom, did get out safely, but at least 2 of them died in this fire this morning. Reporting live in Castle Hills, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you very much, Katrina. Of course, we will keep you posted on that throughout the morning. Welcome to your Monday, everybody. It is May the 7th.
So far, most of construction is what's holding up the traffic.
Actually, it's not holding up the traffic. It's just about picked up. Traffic flowing pretty good. No accidents, so not too bad out there.
Don't need an umbrella unless you want to block the sun today.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, because if you're in the shade on a day like this, it's very comfortable. The humidity's going to be in check, I guess you should say. We will hit 90 again today, though, just like yesterday.
It was warm, but it was nice.
Oh, it was really nice. Sitting outside reading a book for a while yesterday was very pleasant. All right. There's details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. It's been quiet so far. Anything big going on, Marcus?
Not bad at all, Mike. This morning's been pretty good as far as the commute is concerned. Now, we did have some overnight construction. We still have some flashing lights here and there, like 410 and Perrin Vital. David?
All right, Officer Hill, thank you very much. This morning, San Antonio police are asking for your help in finding the suspect responsible for a hit-and-run accident that killed a 1-year-old girl. Now, the accident happened last year, or earlier this year. Melody Hernandez was unsupervised in the street in the 2200 block of Hicks Avenue on December 18th of last year. We're told that just before 7:30 that night, a driver headed westbound hit her. That driver didn't stop. We don't know how long Melody was in the street before she was found. She was rushed to University Hospital, where she later died of her injuries. If you have any information on the case, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 210-224-STOP.
Mother Nature causing major problems on Hawaii's Big Island. A volcano has destroyed more than 24 homes.
The area also experienced its most powerful earthquake in decades. CNN's Donna Lawrence has more.
The lava rolled over Hawaiian neighborhoods like a slow-rolling ocean wave. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
In the meantime, a JetBlue plane diverted Sunday due to a shattered windshield. The San Juan flight headed to Tampa when it was forced to land in Fort Lauderdale after cracks in the windshield forced the pilot to take action. A JetBlue worker tried to calm any worries by saying that the passengers were never in any grave danger. He also said that this issue has occurred before. The flight landed safely Sunday afternoon and customers were put on another plane.
It wasn't the vacation they had in mind, but passengers aboard the Carnival cruise ship that took on water are now back on dry land. The Caribbean cruise was coming from New Orleans. Officials say a water line broke and that flooded the 9th deck. 50 rooms were damaged. Guests say crew members immediately got to work clearing out the water. Carnival says they did compensate the passengers. They refunded their cruise, gave them half off their next one, and actually offered to fly them home if they wanted to leave early. The incident did not affect the ship's schedule. Another cruise left on Sunday afternoon.
After weeks of controversy, U.S. House Chaplain Pat Conroy heading back to work this morning. House Speaker Paul Ryan originally asked him to step down, then he resigned. On Thursday, Conroy sent a letter to Ryan saying he was rescinding his resignation. Ryan accepted his decision. In a statement, he said, "My original decision was made in what I believe to be in the best interest of this situation, or this institution." Conroy has served as the chamber's chaplain since 2011. The two are expected to meet in person sometime this week. It's now 5:37 and 60 degrees.
Still ahead, now that we're in the offseason, there is a lot of speculation about the future of our Spurs and their star player, Kawhi Leonard. We're going to talk about the latest buzz coming up in World Sports.
And a San Antonio firefighter is like one of the family after helping deliver a baby over the weekend. You've got their story coming up next.
It's a great story, too. Made me cry a little bit. Let's take a live look outside with CityCam. So happy to have you with us on this Monday morning. We'll be back. Welcome back. It's now 5:40. A family-like bond has formed between one family and the San Antonio Fire Department as fire officials from Station 41 had to perform an emergency delivery at their home. The fire officials paid a visit to the couple, Ray and Abby Ulabadi, Sunday afternoon. Abby says she was experiencing contractions at her home back on April 12th, but didn't think anything about it because baby Zia wasn't supposed to arrive until the 15th. Then she realized the contractions were getting worse and she was going into labor. She called her husband at work. Ray rushed home and upstairs to the master bathroom where Abby was about to have the baby while on the phone with 911. Firefighters showed up shortly after and just in time.
For them to come when they did, and it sort of took, like, when I could have panicked, that's when they showed up. So I really was like, it was like, just like, thank God, I don't have to panic.
Well, they all took a picture together to remember the moment they shared. EMS showed up shortly after baby Zia was delivered. The family was given a gift from the fire department in the form of a baby onesie with the number 41 on it to represent their station.
The legacy of one San Antonio's finest continues to live on. After passing on, Officer Bobby Deckert's heart was donated to Gene Dudley. He showed up at Deckert's annual football charity game to offer emotional support to Deckert's family and friends on Sunday. The heart transplant happened 4.5 years ago, but only recently Dudley was able to find out who actually gave him his second chance at life. Deckert was known for his athleticism, leading doctors to describe Dudley that he would be receiving a Ferrari heart.
in the hospital, and then it progressively got worse. I was in ICU, and the only remedy really was a transplant, was a heart transplant.
Dudley says he does not take the gift of life for granted. Deckert was fatally shot in the head during a high-speed chase back in December of 2013, but it's clear his legacy lives on. 4 people have received Deckert's organs after he became an organ donor.
Oh, how emotional for everyone involved, but what a wonderful, wonderful thing as well.
What have we said? Through death, there's life?
Through death, there's life. Your time now is 5:42, and it's 60 degrees outside.
Coming up next, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. We've got the latest in big board sports on the way.
And it was a good weekend on the diamond for our San Antonio Flying Chanclas.
Chanclas.
Oh,
yeah,
story's coming up next.
It was a good weekend for Flying Chanclas.
Apparently.
Hey, one of the latest so-called insider reports on our Spurs comes from New York. It claims that Spurs head coach Greg Popovich is fed up with his star player Kawhi Leonard. The report also says that Pop not only wants to trade him, but asked him not to appear at practices while he worked out his mysterious right quad injury. It's one of many reports we expect to see this offseason as we wait to see what happens between Kawhi and the Spurs. In the meantime, the playoffs roll on. The Warriors in New Orleans played Game 4 yesterday, leading the Warriors, Kevin Durant with 38 points. He was followed by Steph Curry, who had 32. Warriors had 4 players in double digits. So did the Pelicans, but with lower numbers. They couldn't stop Golden State. Warriors take Game 4, 118-92. Golden State now leads that series 3-1. The Houston Rockets played Game 4 against the Jazz in Salt Lake City last night. Houston up 2-1 before last night for the Rockets. James Harden, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But ahead of him was Chris Paul. He had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Rockets had 4 players in double figures. Jazz just couldn't handle Houston. They only had 3 players in double figures, and their top scorer, Donovan Mitchell, put up 25 points. Their second highest was Joe Ingles. He only had 15. The Rockets win at 100-87. They lead the series 3-1. So apparently the Flying Chanclas worked out. That marketing deal is pretty good.
Everybody likes to say it.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Flying Chanclas.
So there you go. And it was a 9th-inning rally on Saturday. So
for the Flying Chanclas.
The Flying Chanclas.
Let's find out if traffic is flying today.
Well, one place that is not flying is where we have a stalled vehicle, eastbound main lanes of I-10, out there by Ralph Fair Road. So let's take a look at TransGuide. You can see, more familiar to most folks, the fine silver curve.
Not so fine silver curve, I like to say.
Yeah.
Or the infamous fine silver curve.
More like infamous.
That's what he just said.
Not fine. That's why
it's been a while since we've had a
green. Oh, don't go there.
I think we're not supposed to mention that, otherwise it, kind of.
You ever been on that curve?
Many times.
Yeah. See all the tire marks on the wall? It's like, wow.
Looks like the wall at Daytona or something.
A NASCAR track out there.
Saturday night, getting back to the missions game. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful evening for some fireworks out there.
That.
Yep. On Sunday, I don't think Mother's Day is going to be a rainout by any means.
It looks like it's going to be a beautiful week. Thanks.
Coming up next, we're going to tell you about a new record holder in the world of NASCAR. A 90-year-old Arizona man has made history by being the oldest driver ever in a NASCAR event. Herschel McGriff competed in 2 races at the Tucson Speedway Saturday night. He was driving for one of the top teams on the racing circuit, Bill McAnally Racing. McGriff had a sponsorship as well from South Point Hotel and Casino. He also played the national anthem on his trombone before the race started. And he said he was more nervous about that than the high speeds on the racetrack. McGriff was a NASCAR driver in his youth and won 4 races in 1954. He didn't win Saturday night, but he's won 35 races in his career, the most recent in 1989. Never too old. Still to come, important news for dads, how improving your parenting style could mean an academic success for your kids. We've got that and much more coming up next hour on Good Morning San Antonio.